Hi everybody, this is Pam with Jesus Junk Journals, and we're getting ready to do this week's Jesus Art Journal Challenge, which will be the letter V, and that is for the veil. And I just think this is so fascinating because, let me read this to you. In Hebrews it says, in the temple the veil was the barrier between the Holy of Holies where God was and the area where the people could come. So only the high priest was allowed to go in once a year, and it was approximately 4 inches thick. And I've looked this up, and there's variations, 4 inches to 8 inches thick. And it was between 45 and 60 feet high. So this was a huge curtain. Matthew tells us it was torn top to bottom, showing that God did it, not man, because of course no man is going to get up 60 feet high and tear it. Jesus became our high priest since we have a great high priest who has passed through the heavens, Jesus, the Son of God. And so what it says was, in Matthew, when he died and he said, it is finished, it says, and behold, the veil of the temple was torn in two from top to bottom, and the earth shook and the rocks were split. So that's what we're talking about. And I just love things that are symbolic of, you know, what God has done. And so here's a picture that somebody did, an illustration of this huge curtain being torn from top to bottom. And basically it's saying that we can come to God now. We couldn't go to God before. And so because Jesus came and reconciled man and God, we now have access to God through Jesus. So that veil is gone. It's torn. Here's another illustration somebody did of the huge curtain being torn. And I just love that symbolism and how we can now come to him. So anyway, that is this week's letter, V. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this out, and I'm going to turn my pages over and get these all ready. And oh, let me draw my prompts. Okay, so 2 prompts. And there's 2 right there. So I'm just going to take those. Go outside and find something to add. Okay, well, this worked out. I think I started this in the winter. And I was thinking to myself, ooh, if I draw this, I don't know what I'm going to get. And then the second one, add an old stamp. All right. So I think I can do both of those without too much effort. So I'm going to put that back, and I will be back. I always feel like Monty Python. And now for something completely different. For the prompt on the something outside, I went out and looked for some small flowers. I thought, well, I'll dry some flowers. I'm not sure how I'll incorporate them. So I had some, I'm kind of out of breath too. I had some oak leaf hydrangeas and some vines. So I tore the little flowers off of those. There's some more hydrangea. And I can use these for slides because I needed some more dried flowers anyway. So what I did is I put them on, I have a stack of dinner plates that kind of fit tight. And so I put a couple of paper towels, I put the flowers on, and then I put a couple more paper towels, and then I put a stack of plates on for weight, and I microwaved them for a minute. And I've done this different ways, but I think they're smashed enough for me. And I'm gonna let them air dry. Here's some columbine and some sage. And I think, is that all? Yeah, so those are the dried flowers I just did, and that's how I did them. So now they're still damp, and so now I'm going to let them air dry and finish drying that way. Okay, so I'm going to set these aside, and then I will be back. Okay, and then the other thing that I brought out is this really thick upholstery fabric. I used it on my Book of Esther, and I feel like that'd make a nice fabric for the curtain. So I'm going to cut a piece pretty much the size of the page. And then cut it in half and then fray out the edges so it appears to be torn. And see how that works. Now, yeah, I think I'll use the front side. I was going to say the back side might be nice, but I'm going to use the front. And this has a nice little edge here that I can put at the bottom. Something like that. And I may have to use my fabric scissors, but I'm going to try. Why use good scissors when you can use dollar scissors, right? That's my whole philosophy. Okay. Wow. Did not cut that very straight. Okay, so here, sort of where I want to cut. So I'm just going to fold it, cut it. Now, obviously, I could get on the sewing machine and hem this neatly and make it look like a proper curtain, but I don't think I'm going to do that. I think that's probably taking it a little too far for me, but I would like to have some loose threads poking out, but I'm not sure if I can, maybe like that. And so then I have to figure out how to attach it to the top. And I'm going to take the tape off. I don't think I'm going to paint this week. Well, not sure. Because then when you open it, maybe I do need to paint it. Okay, tape back on. All right, I am going to use purple since I have purple on this. I think I'll mix up some purple and I think I'll do like a solid purple and then maybe put some gold stencil butter over it. So, and I actually don't think I even need a palette. I think I'm gonna just put it directly on the paper and ooh, I put my my apron on, my smock or whatever you want to call it, and I think it's a good thing I did. Looks like. And this is just cheap paint from Walmart. And I'm kind of thinking in the back of my mind that I've got those white dried flowers, and I'm kind of thinking that I'm going to put them in some sort of acetate window, and then I think they will show up over this purple better than they would have a white background. So that's kind of in the back of my mind as well. So, in case you're wondering if I have a plan, sorta, kinda. This kind of makes me want to break out the sprays and put on here and see what happens, but well, why not? I will never know if I don't try, right? I can always cover it up. And so while this is wet paint, all right, let me see. What have I got? I'd like to get like a denim blue if I could. I don't think I have that color though. Faded jeans. Well, close enough. And this is the Stress Oxide. So I really don't know what this is going to do, because this is some crazy stuff, I think. All right. All right. And so, what else can I get into here? There's green. I don't know what green will do. I don't know if that'll screw it up or not, but I'm going to try it. This is the Lindy Starburst Spray Sea Mint Green. Okay. And then, of course, we have to spin it around because Tim Holtz says so. Okay, where is my water spray bottle? I got these two spray bottles from Walmart, and neither one of them work. As soon as I put liquid in them, they quit working. I wonder if I just... I'm going to do that because the oxide sprays tend to work with big blobs of water from what I've noticed. And if you're doing this at home, you probably would want to move your artwork that is laying there in the way so it doesn't get paint on it, but I did not do that. Oh, and I did spray that one too. I got spray on it. Oh, all right. As you've probably noticed, I have a high tolerance for catastrophe, so it'll be all right. Okay, so I'm going to let that dry and see what happens. Oh, I guess I could use my blow dryer. Do that, and then I'll come back. Okay, so that's kind of interesting. I hope you can see it. Sometimes these iridescent colors don't show up well on camera. So, you know, not being one to ever leave well enough alone, I think I'm going to use some white, the high flow acrylic. Perhaps I should shake it up first. Perhaps I should shut it first. Oh my. Well, I wasn't planning on doing dots. I was going to put it on and let it run. But it's got a mind of its own. So I'm going to put that on. Go back to one of my little Dollar Tree sprayers since Walmart's are not reliable. And let that run. All right, I'm going to let that dry, and then I will come back and put the paper things on. So I think I'm going to set that aside and go ahead and work on the small one. And let's see, I'm really just planning on putting the small illustration of the veil and this and the V, and probably write the word veil on it. So I think I'm just going to be very simple and straightforward with this one. I think I'm going to do some stamping or some, like through some stencils for the background on this. So let me go grab some stencils. Okay, so I'm going to use this pattern. Let's see, I think I'll use the fossilized amber and see what that does. Although the wild honey looks good too. So I think I actually probably will get both of those out because I like to use two different ones if I can do it. It gives depth, I think. If I can keep them to get from using the wrong stamp and messing it up. Okay, so getting kind of dried out. Let's see. All right, just a touch of gold. And clean that off before it hardens, because I found out the hard way that if you don't get that off pretty quickly, it dries and will alter your stencil. Okay, I'm back. It's almost dry, but not quite. But what I'm going to do is do my gold. And I have this stencil that I think is just almost all the way across. So I'm going to put this on, and then I'm going to let it dry for a good long time. But I thought I wanted to get this on because it's going to take a while to dry. And that way, it can all dry at the same time. And I'm not going to try to get it solid. I just want it to be an indication of this. I don't want it on the edge of the stencil all the way across. Not really goopy. I'm trying to use the part that's almost dried up. Just so I don't waste it. So if I don't use it now, it will definitely be too hard to use next time. Okay. Let's see if I can finish with this. Okay, let's see what that does. All right, that is great. And now I've got to get that into some water. Also, I found for my prompt that said use stamps, I found some gold bond stamps, which I think will work fine, and it kind of goes with the color scheme. So that's going to be my stamps. So I'm going to let this dry, and then after it's completely dry, I will be back. So I am back. The gold is dried on both of these, and I've been playing around with these different pieces and parts. So my curtains are cut, and I'm going to glue this stuff on, and I think I'm just going to use art glitter glue. And because the curtain's going to be attached at the top, I'm not going to put my V at the top on this one. I'm going to put it in the center. And, ooh, this glue, gosh. I don't know what's up with this. I just filled it, and it's really runny. And I've got my gold bond stamps I was going to put on to fulfill the prompt. So I wanted to also, you know, I told you I read some books. I was going to talk about them for my trip. So another book that I read was another one of, it was a sort of an autobiography. It was by this woman who was bipolar, and she was also an alcoholic. It was very inspiring because she, of course, came out of it. The Lord delivered her. But the name of it is Hold On to Hope, From Bipolar and Brokenness to Healing and Wholeness by Nicole Marbach, M-A-R-B-A-C-H. I mean, if you know anybody who suffers from bipolar condition, or, you know, even alcoholism or anything like that, her book is very inspiring, and it's inspiring for people who have to deal with those people, because, you know, you give up on people sometimes. It's just so hard, and you just can't see how it's ever going to change. And it gives you hope that, you know, God can come through and save people, even, you know, no matter what. So it's an excellent book. It's a quick read. It's very easy to read. I had gotten a recommendation about it on Facebook from a pastor's wife, and she said she read it in one sitting. She stayed up till 3 in the morning to read it. And so I took it to Florida with me, and I read it in 2 days. Stay up all night to read it, but it was really easy to read, quick to read. And so highly recommend that. And I'll say it again. The name of it is Hold On to Hope by Nicole Marbach, M-A-R-B-A-C-H. She cut herself, and when I say, you know, people cut themselves, she's one of the more extreme cases of that. So that's another thing. If you know anybody that has gotten into that, very demonic in my opinion. The devil attacks people and has them do things like that. Anyway, just wanted to recommend that book. Okay, so I'm gonna, oh, I forgot my picture. Oh no. Well, I'm gonna trim it down. I think I can get away with cutting that much off. Well, do I need that on there? Maybe I don't need to put it on there. I guess I could put it there. Kind of ruins my symmetrical thought. I'm going to put it on there because, you know, if this is sort of like a scrapbook sort of journal, art journal situation, when I pull the curtains back, I will want to see it, and it'll help me understand it better, I think, when I see this picture. So I'm going to go ahead and put it on. Okay, I've got my 2 circles cut in my 2-inch squares. I feel like I'm doing everything the hard way today. I don't know what's going on, but that's all right. I'm gonna cut a chunk of this acetate out of this packaging and glue it in. Actually, I think Fabri-Tac will work better. I can get it to come out. And I'm going to get my dried flour. Get that arranged a little bit better, maybe. I'm hung up. I've got Fabri-Tac stringing across here. Okay, so I'm going to seal it. Okay. And then I'm going to use some ink on the edges of this. This ended up being kind of a complicated one, didn't it? I kind of want to say, whose idea was this? And this, I'm thinking, I actually should have put a ribbon in there. Let me get a ribbon here. And I'm going to pull a dark purple piece of Hug and Snug. And of course I should have thought of this before I glued this shut. I'm just going to let it hang in the middle. So let me see where I can get this to separate before it completely glues. Maybe I'll do a diamond shape. Can you tell there's not a lot of forethought on this? Okay, so I'm going to put some more glue. All right. And I've got these brads from Bo Bunny that have gems in them, and I'm going to take one of those and put right there. And I'm going to use my smallest hole punch and punch a hole. Just put that in. I hope you guys can hear me. My microphone comes on and off several times during this thing, and sometimes I forget to put it back on. Okay, so I've got this in place, and so now I'm going to glue the curtains on like so with Fabri-Tac. And this is super heavy fabric. I'm going to put a good heavy coat of that on. And then I'm going to take a piece of lace and glue across it to kind of finish the edge. And then I've got some more gold trim to put over that. So I'm going to put this on. Hopefully this doesn't give me trouble when I try to shut this book. So I need to make sure I glue it down far enough that it doesn't. All right, and then try to press it down without pulling it back up. There's a little bit of a trick too. Okay, and then the only other thing I need to glue down are these two prompts. Oh, oh, I did that. I added a stamp. Okay, whew, there for a minute I thought I still had something left to do. Okay, so there is that. There's the curtain. I'll set it over here to dry. And, oh yeah, and this one's finished. So let me bring it back in. And that's this one. And there is the V. Okay, I have a little PS to add to this. You know how you do things sometimes and you just have that nagging feeling like there's a better way to do this. There's a better way to do this. Yeah, I just opened a drawer. Here are these coin keepers that you get at Hobby Lobby. How much easier would that have been? Just saying. Hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for sticking with me and watching it. And I will see you on the next video. Bye-bye.